All right. Well, aloha. We got a great, a really cool special thing for you today. I'm with my friend James Clements from who is a member of the Islander Ohana, part of our group over here. And James, thanks for making. I'm really glad that you're here with us today. We want to talk about a topic with that just about everyone who moves to Hawaii has to face with, which is you come here, you have a beautiful, amazing time, but the time comes when you've got to go, and now you've decided to leave Hawaii. And so, first of all, I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for
Thank
whatever
you,
that
Peter.
we're going
It's
to be
good to be
sharing
here.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
it's
so
good to have
much.
you.
I'm glad to have this opportunity to talk to you and have a chance to tell people a little bit more about my story and the joys of Hawaii, and also maybe some of the things that may have you decide to leave Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Why don't we do that? I've got a bunch of questions, so let's kind of start with like the question. Let's hit that one first, and then we'll kind of dig deep as we need to go. Tell us what it, why are you leaving? What's going on, buddy? Right?
All
He's like,
right.
oh my God, he's leaving. What's happening?
So it's actually a factor of quite a few things. A lot of it is probably stuff that I did to myself at the end of the day, and some of it is things that were just maybe wearing at me for the longest time in Hawaii. The biggest thing is financial. Honestly, I put myself in a situation that was tough to get out of. It was becoming more and more tough to cope with, and that was the cost of living. The overall, just to make it through day by day. Like, I thought I had a great paying job on the mainland. Technically, I have a pretty decent paying job, but there with the houses and everything, it just wasn't quite getting me through, and I was essentially coming short every month, and it was starting to hurt more and more. That's the first reason. There's probably three strong reasons why. The second reason is, weird enough, housing issues. That is probably the second biggest thing, and I would love to get more into some of the stories of the housing incidents that I've had within the past 3 years of living in Hawaii. The last one was a shock where the landlord just came down and was like, okay, you got to move now. And, like, what? And so I went to look for homes, and it was really tough to find a home. It was really tough to find one. It's not tough necessarily to find a place in Hawaii. It's to find a place within your budget, which made it difficult. And some of the places that I went to look at, which was within my budget, were disasters. They were like, wow, this is really bad. Like one place, for example, I walked into it, the smell, like, I cannot describe a smell that bad, where you walk in and 3 seconds later you're like, okay, it's time to go. And then the second place they take me to has a big old termite mound right in the middle of the floor. It was
Oh
amazing.
man. Oh geez.
So so that was number two. And number three is, it's going to go into the work culture. I've had a really bad run with the work culture, and I try to navigate it the best I can, but it seems to be very persistent on it. I still work for the same company, but I had a couple of weeks off. It was amazing. I felt very relaxed. I was kind of coming back into my own. So I was coming back to the streamer that I remember and knew. I was excited. I was enthusiastic and happy. And as soon as I started work in the first week, I'm like downhill already. And I'm like, man, I'm stressed. And it's a lot to do with the work culture. Those are the three things. Outside of that, Hawaii was absolutely amazing. I mean, the fact that I could walk to the beach in Kaka'ako and have the time of my life at Ala Moana Beach, or just walk to Ala Moana, was absolutely amazing. How many times I've been down there, and the sunset never ever got old. The people, I've met so many great people in the time there. I've met, some lifelong connections, but I also met a lot of people that I'm like, ooh, there's things there that are more difficult for me to navigate than I was expecting.
Hey, you know what? Thanks for that's a great summary. The three things I heard was financial situation, how, the cost of living, difficulty in finding housing that is bearable within a budget, and the work culture. Those are the three things. That's one that summers that for everybody. Hey, listen, we got a question from Renee, and I want to, for everyone else who's watching, if you got some questions, feel free to pop them in. We'd love to take them. This is an ask us anything and ask me anything. Not ask me being James, not me, but him. Ask him anything.
Please.
Yeah. Do you think these things are just on Oahu, or do they apply to all most islands? Do you have any sense of that, James?
I mean, I've visited all the islands and everything, and all the islands have their own feel to them. So they, in some regards, maybe, but it probably is where you live. If you like being away from the city, especially Honolulu, you'll be okay. Like, I feel like the people that are on the Big Island are more relatable to like day-to-day situations than say people on Oahu. A lot of it is a little bit, I'm going to be honest, is a little bit culturally that's different. So for the people that are moving in from the mainland, you understand that you're coming on in to an area, a place that may be different than what you're used to. So I would feel like all the islands would have that same feel, where you're coming into a place, you feel like you have to show that you deserve to be there. But there is communities like this, or like communities that have moved in from the mainland, that can probably help guide you and acclimate you to what is going on in Hawaii. And I do feel like that is a very important thing to go through.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So Renee, I mean, we each, what's kind of fun here is we each have our own perspectives and our own experiences, and you have to take them for what you hear. And you just heard James's view. I'll give you a little bit of a different view. I would say it's even more difficult on the neighbor islands. I would say culturally, it's more niche-y. It's much more of a niche culture. It's harder to find a higher paying job. The cost of living, I mean, there's some cost of living, like certainly the Big Island has a lower cost of living, but the Big Island also commensurately also has lower paying jobs. So it kind of all kicks in. And the cultural part, I would say, we moved, we were living, my wife and I, we moved to the Big Island just a long time ago. And I had a harder time. It was much harder for me to acclimate to the Big Island. And now, again, it depends on, it's very, very niche. It depends on where you move. Like, we moved to like the wild, wild west, crazy town on the Big Island, and that did not work at all. And, we are coming, quote, from the big city of Honolulu. But definitely it's those things. So do you think back to your question, Renee, do you think these things are just on Oahu, or do they apply to, I would say, yes, they apply, but in different ways. It's not identical. Oahu's, every island is different. Every island is different, but the issues are different. Right. They're totally different, but the issues are going to be similar, which is cultural adjustment, making ends meet through cost of living, getting an adequate job. Housing is always an issue. They're different, but they're similar. Cool. So James, that's great for sharing. And by the way, everybody here, so for those of us who have just joined us, I'm with my friend James Clemens, and we're doing an Ask Me Anything. Hey, James, we're doing an Ask Me Anything. James is leaving Hawaii. 3 years. Has it been 3 years already?
Yeah, it's been 3 years. Actually, it was 3 years and a couple of months.
Damn. Yeah, I remember you just moving over here.
Yeah.
That's amazing how time flies. It's crazy. But it's going to ask us anything. So, and the topic here is leaving Hawaii. So if there's anything that you folks want to know, go ahead and ask, like Renee did. So here's I was curious about. So, Judy just jumped on. Judy Weber, excellent. Judy's a great member of the Islander Ohana, one of our founding members. Living in Hawaii is great information resources for people hoping to move to Hawaii. That's exactly. Thank you, Judy. livinginhawaii.com. That is exactly what the website is all about. And that's what James joined. James got on to Living in Hawaii. He went through the YouTube channel. He joined the Islander Ohana. And James was a great example. It was kind of fun to watch you acclimate over the 3 years. And I know that you really, you gave a, what's the word here? A yeoman's work, the good old college try. Yeah, you sure did. You sure did. And you went through a lot of adjustments, good adjustments. Yeah. Thanks, Judy, for popping that in. So let me ask you something. So, What would you say is, there's a part Hawaii, I could, if you've been here for 3 years, you at least you went through you went through the 3 year version, right? That there's the 6 month version, there's the 1 year version, there's the 3 year version, there's the 10 year version, there's the 30 year version, right? There's all kinds of versions.
Yeah.
So you went through you went through the 3 year version. So let me ask you, what would you say was the most precious thing that you learned of either about yourself or about life? What was the most precious lesson that you got as a result of your Hawaii experience?
I feel like there's a lot of them that I got.
What's the first one that comes to the top of mind?
Yeah, the first one would definitely be the aloha spirit. The biggest thing that happened was I came from very fast pace. I worked in the casino industry for 20 years, and I was always on the go, and never stopped. And that was, funny enough, one of the hardest things for me to adjust to, but one of the things that I embraced the most, especially after coming back to the mainland, was literally the aloha mindset, or just slowing down a lot more. I feel like that is so missed in so many areas, and it just focuses you on the mana of the island, the spirit of how things work, the hiking, getting out and being a part of nature is something spectacular. And it is something that will always drive me to come back to Hawaii. I'm not done with Hawaii. I might be on the mainland, but I am definitely not done with Hawaii. There's too many good things. That's one of them. And just to hit on that aloha spirit, that slower pace of life. It wasn't even 20 minutes getting out of the airplane. I moved to Denver, Colorado, which I'm originally from, and the traffic was terrifying. Like I guess I took it for granted how awesome it is to give the shaka and everything, and letting people in, or they say the traffic is bad there, but it has nothing to what it is here in Colorado. So there's parts of that, I feel like that's going to be ingrained in me for the rest of my life, is just living aloha, living a slower paced life, and enjoying things a lot more.
Yeah, it's not just a slogan. It is a real thing, and that's the cool part. Hawaii will forever be in your heart. I know that, and I know you'll be back a lot of times. We got a couple of questions over here. First, an easy one from HR, who says, "Which islands have the cleanest ocean waters around it?" All of them. There's no difference.
Yep.
There's no such thing as dirty. There's no dirty ocean water. It's all crystal clear. Yep. Crystal clear, super amazing water, no matter where you are. HR, the islands, if you look at HR, if you look at a global map and you look at Hawaii's, basically a perceptible dot in the middle of the Pacific, so the water is all the same. So
the current, the current blows everything out anyways, and no pollution, which is amazing. And that's so good.
No pollution, well, because we don't have really any industrial waste. There's no dumping in the water per se. The only thing that gets dumped in the water is treated sewage, which is natural per se, et cetera. So HR, no worry about that. Here's a good one from Karamia, who says, "Hey, James, hi, James, do you experience any doubts about your decision to leave?" Good question.
Oh my God, yes. It was a struggle. I mean, it was a 3-month struggle for me to decide if I wanted to stay or go. Every little thing was mounting up. There was pluses to moving, there was minuses to moving. And I actually had to come up with a pro-con sheet that I actively worked on. I honestly think if the housing situation would have played out a little bit better, I would still probably be there. It would have probably been in my favor to stay. I got married actually while I was in Hawaii, and she definitely misses Hawaii already. We've only been here 2 weeks, and I can already tell she misses it, the weather and every aspect like that. But it was an excruciating. It was a very hard one because one, it's going to be cost of living is going to be expensive, but the one cost of moving for me to move everything back to Colorado was around $12,000. It was painful because it was like I'm already on a razor thin. So it went from that to okay, well, this will be cheaper in the long run. But yeah, I know for the wintertime, like December, I'll be back all December. And there'll be months that I'll definitely be back. So yeah, it was tough. It will forever be tough. And that's probably, if there's anything that's going to pull me back or find a place in Hawaii, it'll be, just that spirit that I miss it so much.
Yeah, it is definitely, well, I think it speaks volumes that you had to, if you have to come up with a pro con list, then that kind of tells you a lot, right? That tells you everything.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Hey, folks, if you just joined us, give us some questions. I am here with my buddy James Clemens, and James is sadly leaving Hawaii. That's me. I'm the crying baby here in this picture, and James is leaving, but we're taking some questions. If you have anything that you'd like to know, if you thought about living in Hawaii and you want to ask someone who's been through it, 3 years worth and leaving, this is a great place to ask. So, okay, so it was Aloha Spirit is your thing. Let me ask you something on that too. Is like, okay, so when you move, let's go back to when you moved here and you made the decision to move here.
Okay.
Everyone's kind of looking for something, right? Everybody comes to Hawaii looking for something. And I'm kind of curious of what was it that you were looking for? What was it in your life that was, missing or wanted or whatever you wanted, right? What was it? I'm kind of curious about that. What
that's a fantastic question. And I do 100% agree with you. Most people are always looking for something. All right. So a little bit of backstory is we just got off of COVID. I just hit 20 years of working into the casino industry. And we were all locked down and everything. And a friend of mine said, hey, let's go to Maui. And at first I honestly was like, I was like, I'm not really interested. And finally kept pushing. Like, look at these plane tickets. They're like $320. And I'm like, all right, fine. I was like, at the time I wasn't interested in Hawaii, and I probably didn't know much about Hawaii, to be totally honest. I'd never been here, it was never on my radar. I knew it was a nice place, but in my mind it was ultra expensive, and I just was like, Anyways, finally breaks down. I go to Maui. I kid you not. It only took me maybe, I'd say 10 minutes after looking off at Haleakala, and I was like, wow, this place is absolutely amazing. It's so pretty. The vacation was unbelievable, amazing. I went to the road of Hana. I did zip lining. I did every tourist thing possible for a fraction of the cost and almost no people at that time. It was shocking to see a lot of those places were even still open. And shortly after that, a lot of them did close down. So I feel like I got here right in a golden moment to experience it for the highest level possible. And that moment, I remember the day before I was leaving, I sat down and I started writing in a book, and I'm like, what would it take for me to move here? And it wasn't even 5 months later, I was on the shores of Oahu. So I sold 2 houses, 2 cars, all of my furniture, everything. And was like, all right, I'm doing this. I had an amazing job. I can tell you right now, the job that I left was truly amazing. Great coworkers, but there's something deeper calling me. And it was like, look, is this the end? Is this how you're going to play out the rest of your years? You're just going to be a company man and you're going to do just this? Or do you want to just say, hey, I'm going to give it a go. I want to see what something different feels like. I want to try something that is not normal for most people, just to sell everything and move. And I was like, the worst case is I had the experience. The best case is I couldn't regret it because I actually did the move. And this will be something I'll never regret. It's something that I've completely enjoyed. And that's probably the biggest reason why I ended up going to Hawaii.
That's, I'll tell you something. It's kind of funny because we got a question here from Karamia again, and we'll take it in a second, Karamia. But it's kind of funny, actually, I think I mentioned this to you before. I may have. You and I share somewhat of a common a common
Yeah.
origin story, because I too, you know, I wanted to go to Maui just because I don't know. Well, there's a longer story about that, but you know, I go to Maui on a vacation. I get off the plane. I look at the mountains. Right. I took one look at that mountain. Here, you know, I was
Yeah.
born in Chicago, kid from Chicago, never seen mountains before. Basically, I mean, for the most part, because there's no mountains in the Midwest, unlike Denver, Colorado. You know, at least Denver's a beautiful place. But you know, and I touched down in Maui, and I'm like, I'm moving here. I'm
Yeah.
moving here. You know, I didn't do the ballsy move you did, because I didn't, at the time I was only 21. I didn't have two houses. Did you say? Yeah, two
Yeah.
houses and a car. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did not have two houses and a car. I had a very good job in the software development space, but you know, aside from that, so that was a much bigger move for you. But good for you that you made it. And it's an incredible. I mean, Hawaii. You know what's cool about you, James, is that you took Hawaii to heart. You went in, you jumped in with both feet. You followed through. You followed through my program. God bless you, to kind of really acclimate to the culture, to really kind of figure out what it was. And so good on you. So Karamia says, hey, what would you say are the things that you have or are experiencing that confirm you made the right decision? Another good question. All right. So James, you're in Colorado right now. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what tells you made the right move?
I don't know if I made the right move, to be totally honest. Just being new here with a financial blow, it's been slow to kind of recover everything back to where it was. I don't honestly know if I made the right move. Maybe in the years to come, if I started seeing, you know, saving more money or whatever, and then I'm financially, you know, getting ahead, then I could say, okay, I definitely made the right move, and I still have the ability to go back and spend months. I work remote, so it doesn't matter where in the US I go, I can still work. I can still make a paycheck, which is awesome. I'm in a very rare spot in that regards, and that's why I'm like, cool, December, I'm going to go back and spend time there, because I'm going to miss it. I'm definitely going to miss it. So to be totally honest, I'm not really sure that I made the right move. I made the move that I had to make at that moment in time. It was either that, or I was going to spend, you know, a month or two in an Airbnb, which might have been even more crushing for me to, you know, to find a house. So yeah, to be totally honest, I'm not sure, but we'll see in, you know, the months ahead.
That's thank you for, that's a fantastically honest question. Fantastically honest answer. So thank you for that. So folks, hey, look, if you've just joined us, give us a shout out. I'd love to know where you're from. It's always kind of neat, like Mark over here, who gave us the aloha, but wherever you are, yeah, let us know where you're from. It's always fun to kind of see who's joining us. It always shifts every time. So we've got a question from Hudson. Hudson says, hey, when you moved to Hawaii, how were you able to secure housing locally? I.e., did you have a job? Did you have to have a job to get a rental? The way you told your story, it sounds like you just sort of arrived. First of all, James, can you tell everybody what was the first place you moved into on Oahu? I'm so happy about this one.
Absolutely. All right. So I had money. There was no problem when I came here. I had money. So here's how my time went down. And I would probably say you probably could do something like this, maybe not to the extreme that I went to, but I originally came in with an Airbnb, and I was able to get a place for a month. I feel like that everybody has to do it. So I moved in originally to Kailua. I love Kailua. Oh my God, that's going to be one city that I will forever miss. Anyways, Hawaii is all about connections. One of the biggest things that you will know once you're on the island is how connected everybody is. So the Airbnb person was like, you know, oh, so you want to stay here? And I'm like, absolutely. I was like, if you can find somebody that's willing to take me in, I would be more than happy. Well, her friend just happened to have a really nice house on Kailua Beach. So I was like, oh, okay. It was $3,500, which I was like, well, that's steep, but right now I'm okay. I can handle it. So the owner, which I don't think this is necessarily legal, but it worked out in my favor, said, hey, if you give me 6 months rent, welcome aboard. And I'm like, okay, there's 6 months rent. I cut him a check. I had the moment, and I did that. Lucky enough for me, not even a month in, I had a job at First Hawaiian Bank there in Oahu. Actually, funny enough, if you move to Hawaii, at least when I moved in, hopefully the economy stays strong enough. When I moved in, there was so many tech jobs. Like as soon as I came in, there is a firm called Tech Systems, and they picked me up instantly and said, hey, we'll get you a job, no problem. They did just one interview for a system engineer for the bank, and they hired me on the spot. And from there, I had a job, I had a place to live, and I stayed in that place for I think a year and a half actually there in Kailua, and it was the best year and a half of my life. I cannot tell you how amazing. If there was one place I could stay for the rest of my life, it would have been there.
I mean, talk about the dream, right? You were like, for that moment in time. And this is the thing, right about life and life in general, but man, savor the moment, because there you were living on the beach, and Kailua has probably one of the best beaches in the entire state.
Agreed.
Right? It's one of the best beaches in the whole state.
Lanikai, man. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful white sand. It's gentle. It's not crazy. You can walk out. It's shallow. There's no crazy current. It's just a blast. And so to be there for a year and a half is absolutely amazing. Hudson, hope that answers your question. Hey, I want to give a shout out, Mark Whitehill's with us. Hey, Mark is
Mark.
on the yeah. How's it, Mark? Good. Glad to have you with us. Mark is another member of the Islander Ohana, and has been here now for several years now. Mark, how many years has it been? I think 3 years. 3 years, 4 years. Geez, I mean, it's been so cool to see everybody kind of go through that. Hey, I got a quick one from Mark that I want to address very quickly. Mark says, "Hey, our Arawak Lokono Taino peoples permit to go to Hawaii." Mark, here's the simple word. If you're an American citizen, anyone, American citizens can go to Hawaii. If you're not an American citizen, then you're a visitor, and you can visit Hawaii is part of the United States. So visitor visas apply, and that's it. It doesn't, we don't think about what kind of peoples are permitted or not permitted, or the follow-on question. I was overhearing that some people weren't accepted. Again, it's got nothing to do with that whatsoever. You just go under visa laws, visitor visa laws, like a vacation. People vacation here from all over the world. If you can come to the United States, you can come to Hawaii. And if you're an American citizen, you can come to Hawaii. That's the simple part of it.
Agreed.
Yeah. Mark says 4 years. Okay, 4 years. Yeah,
4 years. Awesome. Yeah. Very nice.
Hey, speaking of which, Jackie, see, this is really cool. James, the Ohana, the Islander Ohana is coming out to say goodbye.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Jackie's here with us. Hey, Jackie, good to see you, Jackie. Yeah, we're here with James in a bittersweet moment. James is leaving us. So, folks, hey, look, if you got any questions, you got an amazing piece over here. You got an amazing moment. You got someone who lived in Hawaii for 3 years, no small amount of time. And who is leaving. Mark says, hey, what were the work issues that you had? I still have my remote mainland job, but Lisa always comes home from work with stories. Yes, we have stories.
Yeah. So this one could get very deep, and I'm going to be an open book. I'll tell you exactly what happened. I'll start from when it started to now, at least my thoughts on the current job. So when I first started the job, it was amazing. Had a great team. We were going out all the time where we're doing Pauhanas, and it was awesome. I was really connecting with these guys. I was doing so much work. I was like the number one ticket closer of my department. I just felt it. I was happy. I was doing things. And then one day I had a run-in with one of my coworkers who is an officer. And I knew he had a chip on his shoulder about me. Like, he didn't play it off. He wouldn't talk to me when we're out on all of our Pauhanas or just any outings, golfing or anything. He always kept his distance. And then one day, I was like, man, he is being really, really harsh to me right now. But it's a very passive aggressive harsh. He's making those passive aggressive comments. And I just called him out. I just was like, hey, man, stop. I'm like, I'm doing my work. I am doing everything that you want. If you see something that I'm doing and it's wrong, let's have a conversation. And after that one comment, my whole time at the bank had radically changed. And apparently wasn't the only person that he did that to. Unfortunately, it was one of those things where I was still resilient. I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm fighting this. I'm doing my work. I'm doing everything, And then I started noticing like the group started hanging out with me less and less. And then I started feeling very ostracized from everything going on. Like if we would go out to a company picnic or party or anything, I was kind of off on my own. It was heartbreaking because I was enjoying it so much. So it went from that, and I was like, okay, well, I feel defeated here. I had another department that it was like, all right, let me honestly go over to this other department, and the coworkers are amazing. Unfortunately, I got stuck with another department with another gal that is even more passive aggressive than the first guy is. And it has made everybody's life hell. Like I'm like, why can't this department keep people here? And now I know why. It's just because she is so condescending or just in that very passive aggressive way. And that's what made, honestly, my work culture time here hard and very, very stressful. So for me, that's what it is. There's a lot of people that I connected with, but it seemed like after I had that one experience, and it only took one experience for it to go like wildfire, and me losing connection with a lot of people. So I felt like after that point, just in general in Hawaii, felt like it was harder to find friends, make friendships and everything. Thank God for my wife, coming on in and coming in with a group of friends, a lot of military people that I started hanging out with. But it all started there.
Yeah, it's you mentioned passive aggressive several times, which, as you've learned, is essentially the overwhelming dominant mindset in Hawaii. Hawaii is very much, and certainly in the workplace, passive aggressive is the way. Everybody smiles and says yes, and they nod and all that kind of stuff. And as soon as the meeting is over, man, it all goes to hell.
Yep, and it does. And I lived it. I legitimately lived it, and I felt like I accidentally stepped on a landmine. If it wasn't for that one event, that was one of those like changing moments for Hawaii for me, was that one event. And if that didn't happen, or if it went better, it probably would have made the whole situation even better. I love being a system admin job, or just doing that type of work. And it still crushes me to this day.
Yeah. And that's gotta hurt. Cause as soon as you get sort of on that wrong side, and I would think that this is this is not a uniquely, the fact that you got on the wrong side of someone who's whatever, is not a local Hawaii thing. It's a human thing. And like any other human place, if you got an exec and you get on the wrong, for whatever reason, the exec doesn't like the way you look or the way you walk or whatever the hell it is, it doesn't really matter. When you're on their when you're on the back side, you're kind of screwed, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of screwed. Yeah. And then, in local culture here, of course, coconut wireless, what we call, word gets around, and all of a sudden, you're a leper. You're a leper.
And it's true, and it does happen. And I will be 100% honest with that. And it wasn't, to me, it was like, man, I'm still kicking butt, because I came from the casino world where, our merit with what we did showed off. I mean, we always had like disagreements with people, which is normal, but nothing like this. This was something I have never experienced before. And I don't think the amount of schooling or teaching could have set me or got me ready for something like this. So
yeah, it's one of the, it's one of those, it is one of those things, right? Because Hawaii, as you know, Hawaii is very cliquish. It's very, very cliquish. And, you were lucky that you were able to make friends at work, in the initial period. But, as soon as, for whatever reason, you got on the wrong side of the wrong person, then everyone's like, okay, I'm not going to go near this guy because I don't want to get near that, because, he's he's a leper, and I'm not going to get leprosy, and I'm not
Yeah.
going near that. And
Yeah.
to save their own souls. Hey, I want to say a few shout outs here first before we continue. Heather is with us. Heather is a member of the Islander Ohana. Heather, welcome back. Good to see you. It's all right. Glad to see that you're here and listening to James's story. And also Kinaya is with us from Austin. These are all Islander Ohana members that we all know and love. It's good to see you guys.
Everybody.
You guys are so absolutely amazing. Judy's got a great, thank you, Judy. Great question. So what's one thing, by the way, before we take on Judy's question, I want to say, look, this is a ask me anything session. So James is leaving Hawaii. I'm the crying baby in the picture. James is leaving, and this is an ask me anything, ask us anything live interview. Any question you want to ask James or myself, please do feel free. Judy, thank you. What's one thing, if first thing that comes to your mind, James, you would suggest that people do before moving here? If you had to do it all over again, James, what was the one thing that you would change? Or not change, but if you had to do it all over again, what's one thing that you would do that you didn't do?
That's a good question. One, learning more about the islands. I think that the way I came in, it was just very like whimsical, and I'm like, cool, let's go try it. And then I found your videos and I started watching your videos, and I'm like, okay, that seems pretty cool and simple. I think I'm ready. Honestly, I would say educate yourself more on the islands, more on the culture, more of the behavior. There's a lot of good YouTube videos that, show what they feel like the local culture is like. And I would say hands down, number one, that has got to be the first thing. And number two, weird enough, learn about the other islands. Know what's on every island. Know what makes every island special. And number three, I'm going to throw a third one out, is start learning how to say Hawaiian names. There's been so many times at work with friends, they will be talking about the Hawaiian names of the roads. Learn how to say them. And one thing on top of that, it's funny. Hawaii is funny because they don't tell you directions. They're like, oh, yeah, you remember that place that was there like 3 years ago? Yeah, that's where we're going to go, or stuff like that. And you're like, what? So educate yourself with everything you can with Hawaii. Educate yourself with how to pronunciate most of the words' names. Even if you're somewhat close, they'll be happy to correct you. Don't worry. And then you just get better at it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is one of my favorites, man. It's like and that's why I put a course in the Islander Ohana, how to pronounce Hawaiian words correctly, because you don't have to speak Hawaiian. In fact, no one speaks Hawaiian. Well, I mean, there are some people. Speaking the language is extraordinarily rare. However, the Hawaiian words are infused everywhere. It's street names, it's building names, it's people's last names. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, right?
It's
everywhere. And nothing says I'm not from here than mispronouncing a word. You remember, James, with all the classes, I would get people shit about not pronouncing words correctly.
Yep.
That is a big deal. That is a big deal. Cool.
And don't worry,
hey, gang, if you
workers that will do that too. I mean, they will straight out call you out, and then they'll be like, "How did you say that again? What are you trying to say?" I can't believe it. I feel like I've gotten a lot of the names down. Like I could say most of them, but we'll have people coming in for the mainland, and I'm over there. Okay, I'm not the only one. Oh, one more thing about Hawaii. I just have to get this one out because it is so ingrained in the culture. When you go to Hawaii, they want to know about you, and they want to know what high school you go to. Or in my case, it was funny because they were like, what's your honorary high school? What high school do you believe is yours? And so I went with Castle because I passed by Castle, and everybody just assumed that was how I got my acceptance from a lot of them. So that's another part, is learn your high schools when you're there.
That is so funny. That is so I've never heard about the honorary high school or what's the high, but what local high school would you want to affiliate? What team colors are you wearing, basically?
Exactly.
Whose jersey are you wearing? But that is so true. Well, it's the high school is actually the code word. High school, what school you went is the term, right? What school you went.
And every
That's kind of
conversation
like,
starts that way.
right? It's what school you went, and because that's a whole that is like the Hawaii version of what's your socio eco. A, let me see if you're a local or not. B, it tells me your socioeconomic status, right?
Yep.
Right away,
Yep.
right away.
It does. It
So
does.
that is a big deal. That's a great point. Thanks. Great question, Judy. Heather, the pronunciation course was so helpful. Yes. Also, listening to the news and radio and YouTube is great for hearing how everything is pronounced here. Yes.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Exactly. And look, for anybody who's listening in and wants to learn the ins and outs, I would say one fundamental thing about and I like hammer this in the course, which is you have to record your voice and listen to yourself saying the Hawaiian word, and then compare it to a model. Like if you're like Heather and you're watching the news or you're watching TV, have a recording of a model, someone who can go to a YouTube channel and kind of hit the play button in the replay and back and replay to hear it, and then say the word into a recording of your own, like your phone, use your phone recording thing and play back your voice, because you got to hear you saying it compared to the model. That'll tell you. That's a hot tip for learning. Well, you did pretty good. You said kakako really good. So I'll give you that much.
Haleakala. Even some of those will be like, what?
Yeah, it takes a while. Jackie's got a question. What was your favorite thing? Okay, what was your favorite thing in Hawaii or about living in Hawaii that you haven't already mentioned? Favorite thing, James?
So the thing that I actually started off doing the most in Hawaii, and something that I will definitely, when I come back in December, I'm going to try to do it again. So the first week that I was there, I went out and bought some really nice, snorkeling equipment. And I was like, you know what? I want to get into the water. I'm a little bit afraid of the ocean. Funny enough, I'm surrounded by the ocean, but I'm wanting to kind of braven up a little bit. And what is the best way of doing that is going for snorkeling. So I got snorkeling gear. And I think one of my actual favorite things was going around the island and trying different places to snorkel. And it was a lot of fun. I went to Sharks Cove quite a few times. I did Kailua and Lanikai a lot. And just up the coast, they always have little inlets that you can go and snorkel. And it all kind of changed when I went to Electric Beach, and I found out how terrifying the ocean could really be, because you're swimming. I don't know if you guys have been out there, but you'll go in and it starts off looking pretty chill, pretty calm, and then all at once the whole floor just drops under you, and you're like, oh. So snorkeling was my favorite pastime that I would do there outside of eating food, believe it or not. So most people say that when you go to Hawaii, you'll lose weight because you're active. And I had the exact opposite. When I came from Arizona to Hawaii, I was 190 pounds. I was in some of the best shape of my life. I got to Hawaii and I went up, I think, 40 pounds, and it was all because of the food. I enjoyed the food so much. So probably number two, which stopped my snorkeling because eventually my health took a beating, is the food was absolutely amazing. And I still think that to this day, it is some of the best food I've ever had.
Yeah, thank you, man. That's a great comments. Yeah, snorkeling is, the snorkeling is a lot of fun, of course. The thing you mentioned about the ocean is a great story, and I put together a few videos on ocean safety. But the thing about Hawaii is that you get fooled by the beauty. Because the place is so beautiful. It's so, and like you said, it's so chill. It's so whatever. And then if you're not kind of paying close attention, and you get out there, and you get pounded by some surf, or to me, worse than surf is current. Surf you can handle. I mean, you're going to get beat up a little bit. You'll get tossed around, but if you can get your way out, it's kind of cool. But if you get in and there's current and you're being dragged out, and that to me personally is terrifying.
Actually, but on the lines, real quick, the one thing that I look back on the most, that I'm so excited that I did. I only did it once for a day, but I look back at it all the time now, is I went surfing on the North Shore right before the big waves hit. Never surfed before, but I had an awesome local coach that was like, hey, brother, let's go out and surf. And then we went out there. And I got on the board twice. I was so excited. It was nerve-wracking, but it was so exciting. And I was like, man, I look back at that. And I'm like, if you ever go to Hawaii, try to go up and surf. Try to learn it. Go to Turtle Bay and do the Jamie O'Brien experience or something, because it is amazing. Even if it's once in your life, it is worth it. That's what I feel like Hawaii is known for. And just, I can always look back and be like, I did that. I actually did that. And it's awesome.
It well said. And that's a good tip, which is go with a coach or, a guide. Don't just grab a board and go out there, go out there with someone who knows what they're doing. They'll take you to the right spot, which is a safe place for you to go, a good place for you to learn, and they'll show you the ropes and you'll get up on the board and surf, which is really, really fun. Yeah. Thanks for bringing back my own memories about my very first getting up on the board experience. I was in Waikiki, and man, it was like, holy moly, right? Here's a kid from, right? Here's a kid from Chicago. I'm 21 years old, and I'm jumping on a board like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm that's it. I am hooked. I am hooked forever. Hooked forever.
Yep.
Yeah. We got some more friends here from the Islander Ohana. Kelly Hobby Bishop. Kelly, well, good to see you, Kelly. Welcome back. Great to see you, Kelly. We're so glad that you're here with us. I really appreciate that. Hey, and we have a Hawaii flowers. Hawaii is so beautiful. The weather, the aloha spirit. Yes, I mean, look, I'm not a world traveler, but I've been around my places. I've been to the four corners of the earth. I've been to Asia. I've been to Europe and Greece, and I haven't been to Africa. I've been for the most part. And a lot of places around the U.S. and everything. There is no place the weather in Hawaii is second to none. You can argue about a whole bunch of other things, but you cannot get that. The Hawaii weather experience is absolutely crazy. It's the best. So yes, Hawaii flowers. You're so right.
Yeah, and real quick on that, my wife couldn't agree with you enough. That's her first complaint is, it's cold here. I'm like, I know it's going to be an adjustment, but she instantly is like, I miss the weather. I'm like, I know.
The weather. Yeah. Hawaii flowers, 82 every day. Exactly. Every day. Every day, man. We just, not to riff on the weather, because that's going to make you feel bad, James, but I just got back from a trip. I went to go visit my daughter who lives in Reno, Nevada, and Reno's a cold place to begin with. And we had a wonderful time. We went on we walked her dog. We went with her. It was nice. The weather wasn't that bad, but it was cold. And man, when I came home, we came back, like in the next morning, we do our normal walk in the morning, my wife and I was like, oh my God, this weather is so perfect. I can't believe it. This weather is just Hawaii weather. Hawaii weather is just so amazing. It's so perfect. It's so incredible. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Hawaii flowers, you need to do like a YouTube channel and talk about the weather. 82 with the beautiful trade winds that keeps the humidity down. Yeah, exactly. That's what saves Hawaii. All right, cool. Hey, we're coming to a close over here. James has been it's way past his bedtime here, and he's up in he's in Denver, Colorado. Folks, if you got a final question, ask it now. James, what do you have? Give me your closing thought. You've got a bunch of friends here on the Islander Ohana who are here with you right now. Kinaya, I can't remember everybody, but Mark, Kinaya, Jackie, Heather are all here to kind of wish you well. Anything you want to leave us with? Give us maybe, I would say, give us a final piece of wisdom to somebody who's thinking about it, and then give us your final aloha.
Okay.
Not final aloha, your aloha until
for
we
now.
again.
I'm definitely not done with Hawaii. I'll make that clear. All right. The first one's easy. It's coming here. One, I'm just going to be straight out and to say, save and do it. because a lifelong regret is not worth it versus trying and coming here. Even if it doesn't work out, everybody has a place that they can go back to. At least in my experience, that's what I felt like. I had always a place that I can go back to, but the lifelong regret of not trying and not coming out and at least being a part of Hawaii would have been way more painful than just dreaming about it for the rest of my life. So that is my number one thing, is doing it. It is worth it. There is experiences like I talked about today. A lot of them probably could be avoided, or just you can learn from them and educate yourself more on the island and how it is. I think when I go back, I'll have a better understanding of how the culture works, how I need to move amongst, the population, and not maybe try so hard to say I belong here. And just accept the time that you have. You never know if it's going to be a short amount of time or if it's going to be the rest of your life. Just enjoy it for what it is. Hawaii is worth it. As far as my final thoughts to everybody, you guys were all amazing. It sucks. I'm not even going to lie that I left. It's one of those things that was kind of you get knocked down and you have to kind of brush yourself off. And some of it wasn't stuff that I was expecting would take me out of Hawaii, like the housing situation. But I'll miss you all. When I come back in December, I would love to get together and maybe have a go or something where we can have a Palhani ourselves and go out and enjoy the night and everything. So just know, from my heart to all of your guys' heart, you're doing the right thing. Enjoy it. Keep enjoying it for me, and keep posting on Facebook so I can, sit here and be like, man, I really need to be back in Hawaii right now.
And hey, James, let me add that, membership in the Islander Ohana is lifelong. So I don't care where you're going, you will for your life, as long as I'm breathing and you're breathing, and probably after I'm breathing, the Islander Ohana will keep on. I want to give a quick shout out to a few folks who said some nice things. Judy was like, hey, thanks for sharing your story. Days, why he's leaving Hawaii, just play the video. We did that. That was the first thing that we did. You missed out. Just play back. It's on demand. It's on YouTube. Go look at that. Mark says, hey, James, thanks for sharing. When, not if, you come back, you know where to find us. Yep. For real, James, let's do the Islander Ohana loves getting together. So I would leave it up to you just to kind of say, hey, gang, I'm coming back, and we'll see you then. Okay. Heather says, wishing you the best. James, so glad we crossed paths in this lifetime. Hawaii will always be a part of your life and will always have a place in your heart. Thank you, well Heather. Said, Heather. That is exactly correct. Exactly correct. Hawaii Flowers, mahalo for the show. Son's been here for 10 years. I've been 5. Wouldn't trade it for the world, the people, the weather, etc. You got it right. And hui ho. And Heather, thank you, Heather. Ohana is forever. Yeah. Ohana means nobody gets left behind. Exactly. All right, man. James, this was great. I really appreciate you taking the time. It was a great insight. I know that a lot of people are going to be helped by this video. Wishing you the best. Islander Ohana is always here. You are always a member, and stay in touch. Love you. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the journey, and we'll see you soon, baby.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Aloha. Take care. See ya. Aloha.